Buonasera, l'incontro di oggi pomeriggio di stasera ormai si svolgerà, non mi far la foto che sto tenendo il microfono così. L'incontro di stasera si svolgerà in due parti. Un primo incontro sarà tra Mohamed Challouf e Mohamed Malas, e una seconda parte, quindi durerà circa 35-40 minuti. Una seconda parte sarò io a dialogare con Ossama Mohammed, quindi non andate via se volete ascoltare entrambi i registi. Grazie mille. The conversation tonight is going to be split into two halves. We're going to have a first session with Mohamed Challouf and Mohamed Malas, and after we're going to have another conversation between me and Ossama Mohammed, who's here. So stick around for the second half. Thank you.
Grazie. Allora, grazie di essere qua, benvenuti in questo incontro che mi è molto caro, perché quando devo intervenire torno alla mia memoria, e non è per me il miglior modo per intervenire in un festival dedicato alla memoria del cinema. Per presentare il nostro ospite, Mohamed Malas, mi viene in mente una cosa. Quando ero giovane e frequentavo per le prime volte il festival di Cartagine, per la mia generazione, quella di prima, degli anni '80, eravamo fieri di 3 o 4 cose nel mondo arabo in Africa. La creazione del Festival di Cartagine nel 66, che era una prima vetrina dedicata alla promozione del cinema africano e arabo. La seconda è la creazione nel 69 del Festival Panafricano del Cinema di Ouagadougou. La terza era una cosa eccezionale e unica e eccezionale in Africa, che era la Cineteca di Algeri, che era un luogo di incontro con le culture del continente durante tutto l'anno. E una quarta cosa dal quale ero fiero e si notava moltissimo all'epoca era un trio del cinema siriano, un trio di 3 fratelli del cinema siriano, un trio di 3 cineasti molto solidari che hanno preso in mano il destino del cinema siriano dopo anni di cinema commerciale che imitava il cinema egiziano, e erano Mohamed Malas e un altro regista che ci ha lasciato, che è Omar Amiralai, e un terzo che è Ossama Mohammed. E noi in questa edizione abbiamo avuto la fortuna di presentare dei film importanti di questi registi, soprattutto Mohamed Malas e Ossama Mohammed, e per cominciare questo incontro io vorrei subito entrare nel merito e chiedere a Mohamed Malas come è nato questo trio, come è nato questo trio che era una eccezione in un mondo arabo dove c'era la concorrenza, ognuno voleva creare il suo posto e fare del cinema. Lo vedevo in Tunisia, in Algeria, eccetera. C'era questa eccezione in Siria, e volevo chiedere a Mohamed come è nato questo trio e come ha funzionato. حبيت نسألك في سوريا كيف ولد هذا الثلاثي للسينما السورية وفي أي وضع؟
أولا مساء الخير. يعني باختصار شديد أنا حاطي فكرة عن نشوء ووجود السينما في سوريا التي كانت في الحقيقة تحت سيطرة الفيلم المصري التجاري.
Buon pomeriggio, buonasera. Vorrei prima di tutto cominciare a parlarvi della nascita del cinema siriano, che all'epoca era sotto il peso e la monopolizzazione del cinema che imitava il cinema egiziano commerciale. All'inizio il cinema siriano era una imitazione del cinema egiziano commerciale.
وحين استولى حزب البعث العربي الاشتراكي في أواخر الستينات والعسكر على السلطة في أوائل السبعينات
quando il partito Ba'ath ha preso il potere nel fine degli anni 60
أحدثوا المؤسسة العامة للسينما التي تأخذ الإنتاج والتوزيع والاستيراد تحت سيطرتها، وبالتالي أصبح كل ما هو سينمائي لا يمر إلا عبر هذه الجهة الحكومية اللي اسمها National Film Organization.
A questo punto il nuovo regime, il partito Ba'ath, ha creato l'organismo nazionale del cinema siriano che aveva il compito di gestire tutto, la produzione e la distribuzione del cinema in Siria.
وفي هذه الفترة في الحقيقة تحقق عدد من الأفلام من الإنتاج الحكومي الجيدة والهامة، وأرسلت العديد من الشباب للبعثات لدراسة السينما في الخارج في أوروبا.
Per dire la verità, in questo periodo sono stati realizzati dei film a partire da questa nuova partenza, molti film importanti, e molti giovani sono stati mandati all'estero per studiare il cinema.
لأوروبا الشرقية والغربية معا.
Europa dell'Est e dell'Ovest.
والأفلام التي تحققت في تلك الفترة حققها عدد من المخرجين العرب.
E in quel periodo questi primi film sono stati realizzati da registi arabi.
لكن أنا أعتقد أن هذه الأفلام بنظرتها للواقع السياسي والوطني والاجتماعي شكلت علامة أولية للجيل الذي يأتي فيما بعد.
E penso che lo sguardo serio e reale che avevano questi film, che sono stati realizzati da registi arabi, sono stati un punto di partenza per la mia generazione per fare e pensare a un altro cinema.
على سبيل المثال فيلم المخدوعون الذي يعني له سمعة عالمية كبيرة من إخراج مخرج مصري.
Per esempio il film Gli Ingannati, che ha una reputazione internazionale, realizzato da un regista siriano, e io aggiungo Tawfiq Salah.
مصري.
Egiziano,
Egiziano.
Egiziano. Sono sotto controllo.
والفيلم اليازرلي للمخرج العراقي قيس الزبيدي اللي يعني شكل نوع من التجريب السينمائي.
E il film Lezioni del regista iracheno Qais Zubeidi, che rappresentava un nuovo modo sperimentale di fare cinema.
والمخرج اللبناني كريستيان غازي شو اسمه؟ برهان علوية. والمخرج اللبناني برهان علوية وفيلم كفر قاسم عن فلسطين.
Sì, anche il regista libanese Burhan Alawiya, che ha realizzato Kafir Qasem sulla causa palestinese.
والفيلم السوري الذي أخرجه أحد المخرجين اسمه خالد حمادي، اللي كان الفيلم الوحيد في حياته بعد نضال طويل يعني بعنوان السكين.
Citando anche Khaled Hammadi, che durante la sua vita ha fatto solo un film, questo regista siriano, intitolato As-Sikin o Il coltello.
لذلك حين جاء الجيل الآخر الذي أنتمي له أيضا بدأ انطلاقا من التجربة القليلة في هذه الأفلام أن يستعد لتحقيق أفلام تنتمي إلى الواقع السوري بكل عناصره، سواء بجوانبه الاجتماعية أو السياسية، رغم كل الصعوبات التي كان يواجهها مع الإنتاج.
E quando è arrivata la nuova generazione, partendo dalle prime esperienze che vi ho citato, la mia generazione ha pensato di fare dei film sulla realtà siriana, quella sociale e politica, e ci siamo impegnati a produrre dei film tipo nuovo realismo siriano.
في تلك الفترة تم تحقيق فيلم يعتبر اليوم بتاريخ السينما السورية أسطورة من الأساطير، اللي هو فيلم الحياة اليومية في قرية سورية للمخرج عمر أميرالاي.
È una leggenda di questo cinema impegnato siriano che è stato fatto da Omar Amiralai, che fa parte di questo trio, cronache di un villaggio siriano, è uno esempio leggendario di questo nuova corrente di cinema impegnato siriano.
وباعتباره شكل مرجعية أساسية لنوع السينما الوثائقية أولاً، وأتاح الفرصة لتشكل علاقات وصداقات فيما بين السينمائيين السوريين وبين الطموح لتحقيق أفلام، رغم أن هذه الأفلام تحت سيطرة السلطة الحاكمة أي المؤسسة العامة للسينما.
E questo film è stato un punto di riferimento d'inizio che ha creato delle amicizie, dei collegamenti, dei dialoghi tra la nuova generazione di cineasti, malgrado il fatto che la produzione cinematografica era sotto il controllo dell'ente, l'organismo nazionale del cinema siriano.
وبعد 11 عام من تخرجي من معهد السينما استمكنت من تحقيق فيلمي الأول اللي هو أحلام المدينة الذي عرض في مهرجان كان السينمائي.
11 anni dopo il mio diploma nella scuola del cinema ho realizzato il mio film, primo lungometraggio, I sogni della città, che è stato presentato al Festival di Cannes.
هذا الفيلم الذي أتيح له أن يكون يعني ذو سمعة إيجابية سواء على الصعيد الخارجي أو على الصعيد الداخلي، والأمر الذي كان يعتبر نادر ما يكون هناك فيلم سوري الإنتاج ويحقق ارتياد جماهيري واسع في هذيك الفترة. يعني أتاح لي الفرصة للشجاعة أكثر في اختيار الموضوعات التي أريد أن أحققها والقضايا التي أريد أن أتناولها في كل المسار السينمائي اللاحق.
Il successo di questo film a livello nazionale, locale e internazionale, che era una cosa rara che un film siriano abbia il consenso interno e esterno, questa grande reputazione mi ha permesso di prendere il coraggio e di pensare a fare il mio secondo lungometraggio e continuare nel cinema di impegno.
وخاصة أنه في تلك الفترة، يعني المقصود بعد سنوات من التخرج، عاد المخرج السينمائي أسامة محمد الذي درس في نفس المعهد ودرس على يد الأستاذ نفس الأستاذ اللي درست أنا عليه أيضا.
E nel frattempo è tornato nel paese il regista Ossama Mohammed, che aveva fatto la stessa scuola del cinema a Mosca e ha studiato, ha avuto come professore gli stessi professori che ho avuto io.
السينما التي نريد أن نحققها أتاحت الفرصة إلى أن تتشكل علاقات شخصية وصداقية وسينمائية بيني وبين عمر أميرالاي وأسامة محمد، إلى حد وصلت فيه أنه بعد سنوات من هذا التفاهم المستمر إلى أن يكون كل فيلم نحققه يعني بالنسبة للآخر نفس الاهتمام ونفس التعاون ونفس المشاركة بدون أي حدود.
La stessa voglia che avevamo tutti e tre per fare lo stesso cinema impegnato ha fatto nascere questa amicizia, questa collaborazione, e in tutti i film che facevamo c'era la complicità dell'altro e si è creata un'amicizia a livello personale e nel lavoro, e siamo stati complici uno con l'altro per produrre dei film.
ووصلت إلى حد أننا أحيانا كنا ثلاثتنا نحقق فيلما ما.
E siamo arrivati a essere tutti e tre a realizzare insieme un certo film, un film.
نحقق فيلما وثائقيا ما.
Per realizzare tutti e tre una co-realizzazione di tutti e tre di un documentario.
وحصل ذلك في فيلمين فعلا حققناهم، 3 مخرجين لفيلم وثائقيا واحد.
Eravamo in 3 a realizzare 2 documentari.
لكن أنا أريد أن أشرح أن هذه العلاقة كانت عميقة على صعيد السينما والتفاهم إلى حد بعيد يصل إلى إمكانية أن نحقق فيلما بشكل مشترك.
Talmente eravamo in simbiose, simbiose? Sì, che è una cosa difficile, ma riuscivamo, grazie a questo feeling, per realizzare un film in 3 persone, essere tutti 3 a realizzare un film.
بل أحيانا نعمل برنامج لأفلام متعددة نحققها معا وثائقية.
Sì, avevamo un sacco di progetti scritti insieme per fare dei film insieme, documentari.
فخطر لنا يوما ما أن نحقق الوصايا العشر.
الوصايا العشر
يعني 10 أفلام عن شخصيات منسية في تاريخ السينما، في تاريخ السياسي والثقافي السوري.
Avevamo questo progetto che prevedeva di realizzare 10 ritratti di 10 personaggi politici culturali dimenticati in Siria.
ولسوء الحظ لم نتمكن أن نحقق بشكل مشترك إلا فيلمين، الأول بعنوان نور وظلال بمناسبة 100 عام على السينما.
Ma purtroppo siamo riusciti a realizzare solo 2 di questi ritratti. Si tratta di luce e ombra in occasione del centenario del cinema.
اللي هو عن أول رائد سينمائي سوري حاول أن يحقق سينما سورية تقنيا وإنتاجيا بنفسه، وأحدث مختبرات واستوديوهات تصوير إلى ما هنالك. يعني هذا الفيلم يحتاج إلى مشاهدة.
Sì, Luce e Ombra è un ritratto di un pioniere del cinema siriano che ha voluto realizzare tecnicamente ha realizzato i primi film siriani, si è inventato produttore, si è inventato anche proprietario di studi, ha cercato di essere autonomo nel fare cinema, era il pioniere del cinema siriano.
هكذا كنا مع بعض في أفلامنا بمهمات متعددة ومختلفة، وحتى عام 94 اللي حققت فيه أنا فيلم الليل.
E siamo andati avanti così fino al 1994, quando ho realizzato il mio film La notte, الليل.
وحقق أسامة محمد الفيلم الذي شاهدتوه اللي هو نجوم النهار.
E Ossama Mohammed ha realizzato il suo film Le stelle di giorno, نجوم النهار.
لكن المؤسسة العامة للسينما والسلطة السياسية بدأت تحس أن هؤلاء يعني خلينا نسميها يعني يشعرون بالقلق مما نحققه، وأحيانا أكثر من القلق.
E a questo punto, dopo la realizzazione del mio film e quello di Ossama, l'organismo siriano del cinema ha cominciato a sentire il pericolo e ci teneva molto d'occhio e pensava che siamo 2 pericolosi.
وبعد ذلك أي بعد عام 1994 لم أحقق حتى اليوم أي فيلم من إنتاج المؤسسة.
E dal 1994, dopo la produzione da parte dell'organismo siriano del cinema di Al-Leil, non sono più riuscito a far passare un mio progetto e produrlo attraverso l'organismo siriano del cinema.
لأنه أعلن من ذلك الزمان حتى على صعيد الثقافة الحكومية، على صعيد الصحافة الحكومية وغيرها من وسائط التعبير، بأنه هدول ضدنا، أي ضد السلطة، لأنه كان مفهوم الثقافة بالنسبة للسلطة هو السلطة، هو السياسي وليس الثقافة.
E girava tra gli intellettuali, quelli che lavorano nei media, questa nostra reputazione di essere contro, siamo 2 contro regime.
لم يكن أمامي فيما بعد إلا أن أتجه في محاولة تحقيق أفلامي بواسطة المساعدات الخارجية وعلى الإنتاج المشترك مع سواء أوروبا أو أحد الدول المساعدة، سواء كانت عربية أو غير عربية.
Così sono stato costretto a cercare fuori, a far produrre i miei film cercando di avere delle collaborazioni arabe e occidentali.
وحين بدأت الأحداث بعد 2011 نستطيع أن نقول أن السلطة السياسية اتخذت موقف لا ثقافة بعد اليوم، السلطة أولاً.
E dopo gli avvenimenti del 2011 il potere siriano ha deciso non ci sarà più cultura da oggi perché la thaqafa بعد اليوم il potere e la repressione.
أن تدافع عنها أو لا.
O prende posizione per difendere e essere con il potere oppure non hai più la possibilità di esprimerti, di fare delle cose.
وبمجموع المساعدات والإنتاج استطعت أن أحقق مع إنتاج شركة لبنانية أن أحقق فيلم سلم إلى دمشق.
E grazie all'appoggio di una società di produzione libanese sono riuscito a realizzare il mio film Scala per Damasco.
الذي يعني كان خلاله من الصعب أو من المستحيل أن تصور خارج البيت.
E a questo punto non avevo più la possibilità di girare il mio film, di fare le riprese al di fuori della casa. Non potevo uscire, non si poteva più girare per strada e avere la libertà di realizzare il film al di fuori della casa dove ero.
وحققت الفيلم داخل البيت.
E così ho fatto il film a casa.
الذي ينتهي بسلم يصعد فيه الممثلون إلى السطح ويصرخون حرية.
E alla fine del film gli attori, i personaggi del mio film salgono su questa scala, scoprono la città e cominciano a gridare libertà, libertà.
هذا آخر فيلم روائي حققته، لكني أنا بالأساس بعتقد أن المزج بين الروائي والوثائقي لصناعة سينما حقيقية بتنتمي للأفكار التي أريد تحقيقها لم يتح لي أن أحقق أي فيلم بعدها إلا فيلم وثائقي طويل حققته قبل 2 عن أحد الفنانين التشكيليين السوريين اللي هو صديقه منذ أكثر من 20 أو 25 عام. أنا بطمح أني أعمل عنه فيلم، فتمكنا بطاقة وإنتاج المجموعة الفنية هي اللي أنتجت بدون أي فلوس خارجية. يعني حققت فيلم وثائقي بطول 1 ساعة بعنوان أنا يوسف يا أبي.
E l'ultimo film che sono riuscito a realizzare era un documentario e era una voglia che volevo fare in omaggio a un amico che conoscevo. È stato fatto senza nessun finanziamento, c'è stata la solidarietà dell'equipe tecnica per fare questo documentario su questo artista siriano. Il film è intitolato Yusuf
Ya Abi.
Io Giuseppe o Yusuf يا أبي mio padre.
يعني عنده
mio padre io sono Yusuf.
عنده معنى ديني مقدس. أنا يوسف يا أبي.
Sì, ha un significato religioso e Giuseppe che dice al Padre Eterno sono io Giuseppe.
هذا ما أريد أن أقوله، وإذا كان في حد بيحب يسألني فبتشكركم.
محمد قبل ما نسأل الجمهور يتكلمنا ماذا بينا نسأل كيف كانت كتابة الليل يعني. Ho chiesto a Mohamed Malas di spiegarci come è nato questo film che abbiamo visto 2 giorni fa, Il Leil, questo straordinario film politico che ci racconta, che rimane nella memoria per raccontare la Siria di quei anni.
في الأساس قبل أن يخطر في نفسي أن أكون سينمائي يعني كان لدي خلال دراستي الأولى ودراستي الجامعية في دمشق أن أصل إلى قدرة على أن أكون كاتبا روائيا. هذا الطموح الأكبر لدي.
Prima di pensare a fare del cinema avevo voglia di diventare uno scrittore.
وبدون انتظار تم اختياري لدراسة السينما.
Poi sono stato scelto per andare a fare del cinema.
بدون انتظاري أنا.
Senza sì.
بعد أن درست السينما تولد لدي طموح لا أعرف كيف وكيف، لأنه أنا ربيان في الشارع الدمشقي وليس في البيوت وليس في الكتب، ربيان في الشارع الدمشقي، وكان يعنيني تماما على مدى كل الطفولة بعد أن فقدت والدي، يعني هذه الطفولة التي عشتها وهذه الحياة التي قضيتها حتى مرحلة الوصول إلى الجامعة كانت يعني تزودني دائما بطاقة كبيرة للحياة الاجتماعية والوعي والثقافة ومدى الضآلة والأغلاط والنقائص.
Ho passato la mia infanzia per strada, ho vissuto molto per strada. Dopo la scomparsa e la morte di mio padre sono cresciuto nella strada e ho fatto sviluppare nella mia mente, nel mio cuore questa voglia di capire meglio la società e di cercare di difendere questa situazione, difendere la situazione dei più deboli in Siria.
ولا أعرف كيف بعد أن درست السينما كيف تشكل لدي عدم غياب طموح الروائي أن أجمع بين الأدب والسينما، وبالتالي اخترت طريق أن تكون السينما التي أحققها ذات مذاق أدبي، وأن تكون الروايات التي أكتبها وهذا ما يحصل ذات مذاق بصري.
Insomma, dopo aver studiato il cinema avevo questa voglia di mischiare tra la letteratura e il cinema nei film che facevo e la stessa cosa quando scrivevo un libro, cercavo di avere sviluppare la dimensione visiva dei miei scritti.
بعتقد من شاهد الليل يلاحظ أو يحس بهذا الجانب الأدبي والبصري.
E chi ha visto La notte potrebbe osservare e notare questa mia voglia di associare la letteratura in un film cinematografico.
كان يوجعني في الواقع الذي أعيشه هو الافتقاد للكثير من الجوانب التي شكلت بالنسبة لي موضوعات تناول، ومن الممكن يعني تلخيصها بأنه كان فيلمي الأول هو عن المفقود الديمقراطي في الحياة، حين عبرت عن الخمسينات كيف كانت الحياة مليئة ومشبعة وكانت السياسة في الشارع وليست في المكاتب.
E nel mio primo film, I suoni della città, ho cercato di esprimere e di parlare della democrazia perduta, inesistente, che la Siria aveva conosciuto negli anni prima del cambiamento del potere.
وإذا كان المفقود الديمقراطي في فيلم أحلام المدينة، فإنه المفقود المكاني في فيلم الليل هو الذي كان يشكل بالنسبة إلي يعني افتقاد روحي، اللي هي مدينة القنيطرة، مسقط رأسي وحياتي وطفولتي الأولى فيه. فأردت أن أعبر عن هذه المدينة التي احتلت عام 1967 من الإسرائيليين ودمرت تدميرا كاملا قبل خروج الإسرائيليين وإعادتها إلى سوريا. فأردت أن أعيد إحياء المدينة بين الصورة والورق، فكتبت رواية عن المدينة وحققت فيلم الليل.
72 خرجوا الإسرائيليين 74. Mentre nel secondo film, Lei, volevo esprimere e far notare il luogo perduto, e che la mia città natale, il Conaitera, che è stata colonizzata e occupata dal regime, dai militari israeliani che nel 67 l'hanno occupata, l'hanno distrutta completamente e restituita al regime siriano nel 1974, completamente distrutta. E io volevo rendere omaggio a questa mia città natale facendo questo film e nello stesso tempo scrivendo anche un libro sulla stessa storia.
وكنت أريد أن أتوج هذه الثلاثية، الزمان والمكان، الزمان الديمقراطي المفقود، المكان المدمر المفقود. كنت أريد أن أتوج هذه الثنائية بثلاثية هي عن الذات المفقودة، ولكن كان فيلم الليل هو خاتمة القدرة على إنتاج هذه أو أي ما لدي من مشاريع، وبالتالي لم أتمكن من تحقيق ختام هذه الثلاثية بالبحث عن الذات المفقودة.
E volevo completare i due film per fare una trilogia, e dopo aver fatto un film su il tempo perso o perduto, oppure il luogo perduto, volevo fare un film, un terzo, sull'essere il siriano perduto che abbiamo perso, di essere cittadini siriani, ma l'esperienza con l'organismo del cinema siriano che mi ha impedito di fare il film, mi ha impedito anche di realizzare il terzo film della mia trilogia.
وبدلا من أن نحقق ذاك الفيلم الذات المفقودة حققت سلم إلى دمشق، وكان هذا يعني آخر ما استطعت أن أحققه. أما ختم الثلاثية ما يزال بالنسبة لي حلم وأريد تحقيقه إذا أتيحت الفرصة.
Non potendo fare il film della trilogia, la terza parte della trilogia, sono riuscito a fare la scala per Damasco, e però questo film rimane il terzo, un mio sogno che vorrei un giorno realizzare. Mille grazie.
Thank you very much, Mohamed Malas and Mohamed Challouf. Now we're completely taking advantage of Mohamed even translated for us today. I introduced Mohamed many times this day, so you're familiar with him. It's hard to describe the many commitments he has for the preservation and circulation of Arab cinema. Let me tell you how much I enjoyed hearing Arabic inside the Modernissimo. We should have every week. So thank you very much. And I'm sorry. I think next time we have guests that are so rarely around, we should have sessions that last 2 hours each, because I myself would like to listen for really a very long time. But the good thing that they are still around, so you can ask them questions. Please give a welcome to Ossama Mohammed. You've seen both films probably in the last couple of days. So Mohamed Malas just mentioned Al-Layl, the night. As Mohamed Challouf mentioned earlier, there's a tight connection there was a tight connection between the three filmmakers. Ossama Mohammed wrote the screenplay to Al-Layl, so it's a very close connection. But I myself was very ignorant of this cinema until very few years ago. This is the reason why it's so important to see it. I must say that for me, something really clicked when I went to Beirut. I'd like to also acknowledge the presence of Liana Kassir. Liana Kassir works for an association in Lebanon called Nadi Lekol Nas, and they helped for us to meet with the widow of Kanafani, who wrote the novel of The Dupes, the film that was mentioned earlier on by Tefik Saleh, the Egyptian filmmaker that was produced by the National Film Association organization. And that was, for me, it was like discovering a treasure trove. And I went back to old retrospectives were done at the Cineteca to discover that my very first job here in the year 2000 was at a festival called the Festival of Arab Mediterranean Cinema, and I was an assistant to the press officer. And many of these great filmmakers had come, and I really had no idea who they were. Shaheen came. Shaheen, I knew who he was. But it's really like discovering, opening a door to a cinema that is, on the one hand, what's really surprising and striking is the language, because you all have the same training in Moscow that really show how you master the language in an incredible, amazing way, but also how you add to that very strong language, a very strong sense of editing and framing, how you add a very unique imagery, which is part of your own poetic imagery and way of expressing yourself to allegories, and which I just found really unique. So Ossama and I got in touch a year ago when I was looking for Stars in Broad Daylight that we screened yesterday. And we had a number of Zoom to meet each other, and he told me the story of the film, but mostly we were trying to find the best element on which to base our restoration. And so the first thing that I asked him, and I'd like to ask him again today, is I thought I wasn't able to find the film because the film was banned. But the film was made in 1988 and went to Cannes, went to Valladolid, was awarded, and you were still in Syria, and you came back to Syria. So the film was distributed in Spain, the film was broadcast in Germany, and you were still in Syria. So what happened then? And how do they let you make a film when you have one character? Have you seen the film yesterday? Can you raise your hands, those who saw the film yesterday? Fantastic. So the brother, the main character, is really, can we say that now? Yesterday, Ossama didn't really want to say it openly, but he's so resemblant of the dictator. He is the dictator, in fact. So that's why Ossama said yesterday, they told me they will never gonna let you make this film where you actually have the portrait of the dictator in a family. So how did that happen? How did they let you make the film? And how come that you were exiled so much later?
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Cecilia, good evening.
Good evening.
I will tell it in my way, if you agree. First thing, I will forgive Malas because he forgot that I wrote the script with him when he was talking. It's okay. Well, I prefer to tell the story this way. I think that I learned the relation between beauty and justice from my family. Father, mother, and 8 brother and sister. Until the moment I went to study cinema, we had no TV at home, even no radio. We were just playing poetry, reading poems, and songs. My mother knew amazing songs. And I think that the source of images, of fall in love of images, it came from poetry. And I found myself, the game was that who will tell 5 lines of poetry before the other 8, and he will win. But if you win, you just win, you get nothing. And that was an amazing period. Second, so I saw the images there in the poetry. Second, we were 8, 11 with father and mother, with a very small house, and there was no space. So I decided to live at the street, and I became a very, very famous street fighter. Suddenly I went to cinema. Beside my father, I saw Spartacus. Spartacus amazed me. It's the first time I cry. And he became my co-father. So it's two father. My first father, when I was 5, I went to him. He was a believer, a Legion teacher, and I said to him, Father, like this, God doesn't exist. He's a believer. And he looked to me and said, why do you think he doesn't exist? He didn't slap me, he didn't shout, which was very normal. And he just said, tell me why. I said, I don't know, but he doesn't exist. And he said, okay, think, and when you know, tell me. This is a very turning point in my life. Instead of beating me, I saw the smile in his eyes. His eyes was smiling. He was just enjoying that his child has a question and he is free. And I went to street and I found my second father, Spartacus. And I decided to fight for justice and beauty. I had illusion that I am a messenger just to defend the justice. Each day, 3 fights, 5 fights. When I came house, just without any wounded, my mother said, oh, thank God, what happened? Why you are without any? Suddenly, I went to study cinema. I was a football player, a libero, and a famous football player. And I went to study cinema. It's just, I didn't come from Cine Club, from Cinephile, from those, no. And there I found, I think, my freedom. I decided to continue my favorite game. It's adventure, danger, and pleasure. Adventure, next, it's danger. But danger is pleasure. It's pleasure, it's let's see what will happen. That's all my story life, including Nujum al-Nahar. Let's see what will happen.
And what did happen?
What happened? That sitting, writing, I wrote the first thing, I am a free one. The second was, if you are free, why do you need to say I am free? I decided to follow my imaginary. That time, the third father come to life. It's Hafiz al-Assad, the dictatorship. You will see everywhere in Damascus that the father, the leader, Hafiz al-Assad. So with the 3 father, I start my cinematic life. Dictator is an existential question. He is a co-writer, a co-script writer with everybody. You sit to write, he writes with you. You stand behind the camera, he will stand beside you and saying, and then, I don't know, it's up to you. I decided to take him and to throw him from behind the camera inside the cinema. So he was there. And he was there. The main character looks like him exactly. And the main character, the actor, once he came and he said to me, look, Ossama, do you think I look like him? I said, oh, what do you think? You look like him. What do you think? Yeah, I said, okay, let's see what will happen. Let's see. It was the extreme pleasure. People were noticing this, but nobody was brave enough to say this. They were afraid even to think, to believe that I'm doing this. and I was going ahead.
But you had one screening only in Damascus.
After the first screening, I know that the Ministry of Culture, everybody slept in the office, nobody went home. They were just receiving a phone call. Who allowed, who gave the authorization, who, etc. And they didn't talk to me. I was really ready to pay my life. And I remember that I back home and I wrote. It was 20 March, 21st, it's my birthday. I say, today I am a citizen of Syria. Today I am a citizen of Syria, and I was ready for this. People were just not sure that yes or no, no or yes. So at the end, the presidential palace asked the film, to watch the film. And you know, everybody was shaking, the minister, everybody, and he saw the film. And I was not there, of course, and there is 1,000 versions of stories what happened there. One of them, which is maybe the more near of truth, that he was laughing, but when the film finished, he went, he was very angry, and he said nothing. We say sometimes, when you say nothing, it means okay, but he's nothing for all those people was enough to forbid the film. It is the second film officially forbidden after Amiralai film, Daily Life in Syrian Village.
But they still allowed, so they saw it, it was March, they saw it, they banned it, but they still allowed it to go to festivals and represent the country. Yes,
it's literally like this. It's not allowed for public screening in Syria. For people. People are not able to see in cinema sal as Ahlam al-Madina's Dream in the City or other film. They decide it's not for public screening. It's for cultural, for something, for this. They are also very clever people, and they don't want to make a big noise, because what we can do with our film? Are we dangerous?
But you are making fun of a dictator, and you're bringing that image outside of your country in major film festivals, and they are okay with that. They were okay with that.
They will never say that I was making fun about dictator.
Right.
Absolutely. They will never say this. Nobody. Okay. Officially, nobody can say this. Nobody will say this. Will say it's not allowed for public screening. This is the case.
But the other thing is that Syrian the National Film Organization really produced not many films. So how much time does it pass between a film or another? So this was your long feature film, right? The first long feature film.
Yeah. Can we see X-ray?
Yes.
Then
yes,
we continue.
Please. Absolutely.
Can we please screen? I will show you my first statement in cinema. Please.
إذا افترضنا أنت بتعرف إنه أهلك أبوك وأخواتك وأهلك يعني معارضين مثلا للدولة، ورغم إنك أنت بتحبين بس هن ضد الدولة مثلا، وقالوا لك تيجي بالدبابة وتأدبين مثلا، شو بيكون موقفك هون؟
أنا بيجي لأهلي كلهم هيك بده يصير. يعني شو ما عملته هيك بده يصير.
طيب وإذا ما وافقوا معك؟
إذا ما وافقوا معي أنا ما فيني أرفض نهائيا.
شو ما بترفضين؟
ما فيني أرفض الأمر العسكري. قل لي أنا راح أجي هلا راح أقدم البيت. أمر ما من عندي. بالساعة الفلانية كذا، إذا ما بتكونوا أنتم طايعين أوامر الدولة راح يصير فيكم هيك، يعني مثلا مثل ما عم راح مثلا تموتوا كلكم. أي مهمة يكلفوني فيها.
أي مهمة كانت؟
أي مهمة كانت، ولو كانت حتى الموت، يعني لو كانت مكلف في ثمنها حتى الموت. مثلا مثل أخوي أنا إذا مثلا حكي شيء بيضر بأمن الدولة مثلا وهيك واعترف بهالشيء، أنا بيجي ليه بحط المسدس بدانه. مثلا يجي يسب حزب، يسب القيادة، أبدا بيكون خيي مغلب، يكون مين من كان من أهله. إذا حكي شيء بيضر بأمن الدولة، أيوة حكي أشياء يعني ما بتحكى فعلا، أنا بقتل.
إذا سمعتوا مني يا شباب، يا أولاد الذين آمنوا، يا الذي تؤمنوا بالله، يا الذي تؤمنوا بهذا الحسن الذي ما بالدنيا أحسن منه ولا أكبس منه ولا أرهج منه، من بعد الله هو الحسن. سلام الله على أهل الله أهل الحسن. تقيموا بهذا الوطن، تلبسوا بالعسكرية، تخدموا هذا الدولي.
Yeah, just to introduce myself, to continue my religion, adventure, danger, and pleasure. And this is, how the poor, innocent people were modified to stand-by killer, and they became a killer after talking about 2011, those people. That is the question of my life. That is the research of my cinema, of my life. This soldier, okay, I continue.
Please,
I will
by all
back
means.
to your question.
No, please, by all means, feel free to say.
Yeah, it's a free structure.
Absolutely, very free.
Yeah, so this soldier that he was just hesitating to say, I will kill my father, my mother, I will come with tank to destroy them. I cannot say no. The second was, would like to kill. He is ready. He is with a pleasure. This is the two sides of the character. So the question of my life, what about the first soldier? He is the very, very, very close friend of my childhood when we were 5, 6, 7. Amazing person, very good person, beautiful one, strong one, has an amazing voice, singing. He taught me a lot of beautiful songs. I will not sing it now. Even it's really beautiful. And the question was the killer sleeping inside his cells before? Where is the violence came from? And what does it mean, sleeping cells? Can we live without violence? Is it also obligation or not? And I will spent all my life, all my film, trying to find the answer of this question, and I didn't find the answer. I found an additional question and the question and the question in each film. In نجوم النهار, the same. It's about the mental deformation that affect the individual under dictatorship, the illusion of power, the self-destruction. It was the moment talking about Syria, when Hafiz al-Assad and this regime, a huge part of people start to believe that education it's not so important, because culture, education doesn't give you a piece of bread. You have to belong to the regime apparatura. You have to belong to the secret police or to the army. And it is the way if you want to save your future and yourself. And this is the deepest crime the regime did with the society. And all my films were just trying to look inside this without a single hesitation. I thought that I don't have right, if I am a filmmaker, to go left and right, and I don't have right not to tell my truth. That's what I did in نجوم النهار, in the next film, in the last film, and each time I found another question. If in نجوم النهار they, about the illusion of power and self-destruction, then in the next film the question was deepest. It's, do we hold the responsibility about this situation, or is it just we are a victim, there's a regime, and we, the society, we are a victim? And I don't think so. I made the film about our responsibility. And I think that the social culture and religion, they participate in this. And we are participating of creating the God, the dictator, the destroyer. The God, the dictator. That was my next film. And just to find that there is a, a tunnel inside the religious culture and other culture, that people waiting the prophet, the savior, the messenger, the messiah, this, and from this, narrow need, the dictator come as a savior. And when he come, first thing, he tests that, okay, let's try if I can really destroy you to be sure that I can stay in my hand. And the destruction, it's multi-level, it's psychological, it's human, it's economical. This is my cinema. Each time it was very dangerous, but a huge pleasure, that you can at the end make this.
The first time we talked, after we talked about how to find the film, how to get the film, you told me that in 2011, when the upheaval started, when people were being put in jail or were dying, you and other 98 intellectuals, filmmakers, authors signed a sort of a manifesto.
Yeah, it's there is several manifesto. One of them, it was the 99, and I'm really very proud to say that it's a historical statement in the history of Syria. It's just a turning point, and it's very funny. It's interesting because this statement came out from the room of صندوق الدنيا, the second film. You have a room to prepare to make audition for comedian, for everything. So it's a room. You close the door and it's room. And suddenly there was a political prisoner in Homs. He came out from prison after 16 years. 16 years. And he was beaten, tortured, and his family decided to open for him a little shop, and the shop with a printer that, you know, he print copy and he takes some money and it's okay. And they asked me, can we put this printer in your room until we find a car to ship it to Homs? I said yes. In this moment, we were, me and Omar Amiralai, particularly, we were just preparing this statement. This statement came out from the room of my film, because nobody can come inside, and you have the audition, you ask people to come, they come, you close the door, then you choose, and you say, can you read this? What do you think? If you see this, you will find the first time in history of Syria, from the 99, there is about 23, 25 filmmakers, actors. It was never like this. We did this, and it's a great, you know, honor and happiness to make such such audition and to do this. We were using the printer of this political prisoner just to revenge for him and to make this. And it was a great moment in our history. Yeah.
How did Costa Gavras, who was here, by the way, you just missed each other for a day. How did he know? How did he know what was happening? How did you invite you to France at that time?
Yeah, I want to say something.
Please.
Yeah. The last moment when we decided to release this petition, we have to send it to Beirut because we don't have a free press, and it was, you know, prepared with our intellectual friends, the very famous writer Elias Khouri, Samir al-Qasir, who was killed after that, I think, by the Syrians himself. And we were preparing this and to send it. And we have to put the names, you know, 1, 2, 3 until 99. And Omar is also, you know, it's a great master of this composition. So we put the first is a very old man, a lawyer. He never signed petition, but he's a very respectable man. It's and second, third, and I chose my number. And I say, no, I don't want to be here. I choose the 21. If you see the petition, you will see 21, it's me. It's my birthday, but
it's soccer.
Absolutely. It was, if you look to Zinedine Zidane, that time was playing with Juventus with 21. I say, I'm 21. And it is the danger and the pleasure. This. Yes, we are jumping to exile.
Well, yes, unfortunately we're jumping, but we can continue the conversation even after. Yes, how did you get invited to France at that
Can you screen one extrait?
Sure, then we'll have...
we will just respecting the time, I will ask you to go to the number, not 21, I'm sorry. I think it's 26.
We have other really few minutes because my colleagues need to take a break before screening tonight. We don't want them to rush too much on their dinner.
26. Number 6. It is صندوق الدنيا. So, I think there's 2 points we have to talk about, excuse me, before this. Yeah. What does it cinema author cinema? I think we the Syrian, talking about Amir Alai first, because he was the first provocator with the meaning of framing. His amazing frame making. Then I think there was maybe three of us, it's Omar, Malas, and me, we were working on frame. Frame because author cinema doesn't exist without author frame. And we spend, I think, a lot of our time working on frame. You cannot believe that sometimes we spend 1 day just to make one frame with several degrees of light, of movement, of this and this. And I am brave enough to say, I think we became somehow a master of this work. That influenced too much everybody else. And it's an amazing phenomenon that Richard Pena, the American famous critic, came to Syria and said, it's amazing, I never saw this before. There is no even one film pro-regime. It doesn't exist. And I think what we could make in cinema, we are the three, it was provocating the other, to make cinema. And to make cinema, a real cinema, it's difficult to be pro-dictator. Cinema itself, telling you where are you going and what do you want. That's a very important thing. We have amazing research concerning the frame. Second point, that yes, how did we spend our life? We were 30, when I came, we were 30 filmmaker. And as Malas said before, the money was coming from the state. But for only one film in a year for the country, only. But who will make this film? This is a call for corruption.
One film a year.
One film a year. And you remember I wrote a text, it's published in MoMA website now, it's Coffee and Tea is Coffee. And who will make the film? Yeah, we came every day morning until 2 o'clock afternoon, we sit and we drink coffee, nothing. We go 1 year, 2 years, and one film. And I say, yes, you meet the 30 person, you say hello, you hug, you kiss, but you wish that he will die now. Just one less, it's okay. You kill him in your imaginary. I was talking a lot about I'm trusting, I'm following my imaginary. I say, okay, I kiss him, I love him, I kill him, and I cry, and I stand in front of his grave, and I make amazing poetry about him, but he is not here, we are 29. That was our life from my point of view. And then I made the calculation. 30. I was 20 somehow. It means that my first film, I will be 70. The second one, 140. The third, it will be the best one because with experience, with 2 films, I will be 242. This is great, and it is a United Nations resolution about Israel to withdraw from Arab-occupied land, and they didn't, of course, and we know what happened now in Palestine, in Gaza. It's a big discrimination from my point of view. It's settler colonialism with a big level of racism and fascism, and this is the 242. This is my statement about our life. We were living like this. I was lucky to make a film. Second, we go to Costa Gavras. And no, I came from Syria with ticket aller-retour, and I made my statement in Cannes. They asked me to talk about Ja'far Panahi. I said, I will not talk about Ja'far Panahi. I will talk about the Syrian amazing son of freedom are being killed every day in Syria. And I read my statement. It was Usta Gavras on the stage, and I was told that, don't play brave, Ossama, it's enough. My friend told me from Damascus, it's enough. It's not arrest. It's something else. And I'm here. I'll screen the last one, and we'll talk. No. So please, yes. Yeah. It is my last film. I'm talking about adventure, danger, and pleasure. What does it mean, cinematic language? When 1,000 and 1,000 Syrian 2011 start to film and to upload this and to call help. When I saw those images, I didn't look for what's happening. I was looking about the cinematic value of this, and I make the challenge that the low quality here is the highest quality of aesthetism. And this is my last extrait, and then you will forgive me for that. It's, I think, number 7, Silvered Water.
This was shot while you were already in France by somebody else with the phone, right?
It is the majority extrait film by Syrian Anonymous, by Syrian girl in Homs under siege, and by me with the music of Noma. Omran, here. Please, 7.
Kunina.
Yeah, it is the moment when we are the filmmaker became spectator, and the Anonymous were making their, for me, very valuable cinema. The low quality was the highest level for me of aesthetism, of additional truth. And this is a big thanks to Noma Umran, my wife, my beautiful wife. It's her voice, her song, her music. She asked me before coming here, please don't talk about me and don't say that I love you and you love me and this. So I will not tell this.